Yo, what up, friends? So, a lot of you guys have been asking me about Frost Blades. You see me playing Frost Blades, you see me blowing up maps with Frost Blades, you want to know about Frost Blades, and today I wanted to talk to you about Frost Blades. Frost Blades has to be one of the funnest skills that I've managed to play all league. My friend Lily brought it to me, she told me all about it. My friend Lily on Discord is known as Fish, and she was just like, hey, this is really cool, you should play this, and I was like, nah, this is going to be bait, and she's like, no, this is awesome. A bunch of guys in Twitch chat were actually playing it and playing very similar versions to what she was playing. And they were like, hey, it's actually pretty cool. You should check it out. So I asked Lily about where she got it from, whose idea she copied and what's going on. And she copied a guy on YouTube named Zish. I put his information down below so you can go check out his profile and how he did it and where the inspiration came from. And overall, I've been playing Frost Blades on my off time, and it's fun and it's awesome and it's really strong and it's one heck of a mapper. And today I just wanted to showcase the build to you and show you what's going on. Now, I've prepped a map for you guys to look at. This map has 110% quant, 53% rarity, a ton of pack size. It is deli orbed with just any kind of delirious that I have. I put 80% on. The map mods are a little crazy, and we're just gonna kind of toss it in and talk about the build and what's going on. I'll show you the map, I'll show you how it bosses, and then we'll look over the skills and stuff like that. But as you can see, going into this map, this Maze of the Minotaur, just right off the bat, you just cut through everything. No problems at all. It is just so smooth. For a mapping character, this has easily been one of the best mapping characters I have ever managed to play. And you can just pretty much do for everything in the game. I don't know if I would really recommend it for Ubers. I have done simulacrums with it up until wave 28. With more investment, I think I can easily get to wave 30. But with how it is right now and how it feels and how it plays, it does everything that I want it to do. Now, I will say Ubers are going to be a little bit more difficult than running this map, but as you can see, I just 80% deli. You just walk through it, no big deal at all. I'll go back later and I'll loot some of this stuff. Maybe some of it, I don't know. You know, it's whatever. I don't want to take up too much time in the video looting a map. But I really just wanted you guys to see just how it goes through a map. And of course, you would do these maps, you would put more juice, you would put your sextants and your scarabs. But what I really just wanted to do was just show you, like, this is 80% delirious with girl whose name I can't remember, looking at the boss Maven, and you know, we just cut through it. No big deal, no problems, easy peasy, easy. Now, the other thing I want to say is, while this map's very, 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 very well, I don't recommend it as much for bossing. I will show you bossing. You can see we just spec'd into Uber Shaper. I have my Taste of Hate that I'm going to swap to, and I'm going to throw in an Uber Shaper just to kind of show you guys mapping and bossing. Uber Shaper is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult. I don't know if I would recommend doing all the Ubers on it, but if you're looking for something to map with, it's pretty good. I will let you guys be the judge of how you see it when we do the Uber boss now, and you know, you guys can make the decision on if you want to choose to boss with it or not. The gearing itself for the character is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. I managed to craft a lot of the gear for the character myself, and if you guys, when we go over the gear, have questions about the gear or want to talk about the gear and how to make it, by all means, feel free to leave a comment down below. Stop by the Twitch stream, ask in the Discord. The Discord's insanely active. I encourage you guys to join the Discord now, later, in the future, at all. And if you have questions and I'm around, I'll happily answer them for you. And people in the Discord will happily answer everything you guys need. I think I froze him. I like it, man. I do. I enjoy the character a lot. I think it's really fun. And the big reason why that I want to showcase bossing is I want you guys to have the understanding and expectations of what you're going to get and what to expect going into this character. And I don't want anybody to be like, oh, but I put this investment, I wanted to kill Ubers. And I was just like, I wouldn't go try to kill Ubers because it's just not, you know, not what I would recommend. Now you can see it does do oh, whoops. It does do damage. It is okay. We're going to die here to the ball phase because we don't have our Taste of Hate up. You know, we're just going to, you know. Yeah! I wouldn't recommend trying to tank those if you don't have Taste of Hate up. Okay, nice. Good damage, good damage, good damage. He's phased, he's phased. Looks good. One thing that I have to say about this character that I love, and I absolutely love, is it's fast, it's mobile, it does everything I want. It's got cool explosions. Actually, I don't even have the Herald MTX on to show you guys. I actually have it on another character. So like we can actually even like put the Herald effect on. And you just get these big, beautiful blue explosions. I should have put it on. In reality, I should go record this whole video again and go do that map again, just so you guys could appreciate the blue explosions that that the skill and everything has to offer. Hello, Frost Blades? I mean, Frostblade. There we go. Eh. Nice, dude. Let's go. Okay, okay, okay. I was expecting to die to those invisibly. Now, the only thing with bossing that I'll recommend and talk about is we have brittle on our boots, and a lot of our damage comes from the brittle effect. So you have to remember that if you're going to boss, that you need to play into that brittle effect, and you can see the brittle on the ground there. And you just have to really, really, really... Oh, God. See, we died. I ran into him. I'm bad. If I didn't run into it, it would have been deathless. So you just have to remember that, like, if you don't have Taste of Hate up, you can't tank a lot of things, especially during the Shaper fight. And, okay. Okay. And if you want to maximize your DPS, that you have to brittle the boss and walk on him and get that brittle effect going. Otherwise, you're not going to have the crit and or the damage to do what you want to do. Now, you can see overall the character itself is fairly tanky, except for this ball phase. You know, we've taken some of the Shaper beams. And we can pretty much take a good hit. And it's every time I play this character and I do things like Shaper on Uber, or I like do a map, I'm just constantly surprised at how well it can do. I know I just died there and I'm talking about how well the character can do, but I mean, like, you know, we did just get like clapped by like Shaper balls. I just tank them. You know, as long as you're hitting, you're tanking, right? Now, I know a lot of other people would cut here and just kind of like skip forward, but I figure you guys will be really upset. So I will show you guys the rest of the fight. And then if you want, you guys can skip ahead yourselves to the gearing and what it looks like and all that fun jazz. All right, now let's get out of here. Where's the guy? Oh, there he is. Yeah, so a lot of the damage comes from literally putting the brittle effect on the enemy. Oh, we do have power charge. How about that? So much RP. Come on. Maven, please. There we go. No, I wanted to tank it. Dang it. Quick, edit the video. Don't let anybody see you did bad. Quick, edit it. But this is my point. Like, this is what I was saying earlier. What the heck? I heavily recommend this character for everything except maybe Ubers. Like, literally for everything except Ubers. Because, like, you see, like, if you're skilled and you can mechanically do things, unlike me, it'll go great. And for the one guy who's watching this saying that I shouldn't put these real things in with, like, dying, you guys need to see how this plays and how it really is, right? I don't want to mislead you guys. I don't want to send you guys down this weird rabbit hole where I can tell you it could do all content, when in reality, it could do a lot of content if you play well. So I figure you guys appreciate more or less seeing what's going on and how it works. And you can indeed kill a Shaper, and you can do things if you are just not silly and you play it well. Now, Frost Blades itself as a character is not very expensive. The gearing is pretty good, and we'll just kind of go over everything and talk about it now. The biggest thing to note about Frost Blades is a lot of your damage comes from the weapon. If your weapon is bad and your weapon is not good and your weapon does not meet standards, you will not do damage. So one of the biggest things, and one of the things that you might splurge on a little bit, is your weapon. Now, I know you're going to say immediately, but there's a Mage Blade. You don't need a Mage Blade. We'll talk about Mage Blade in a minute, and we'll talk about belt options in a minute. But your weapon is huge. The weapon that I have is I have a Fractured Tier 1 Merciless Fizz Fracture. I recommend starting with a weapon with this Fracture, as it gives you the best opportunity to roll the weapon and create the weapon. The way that I made the weapon is I used Essence of Hatred, Deafening Essence of Hatred, and I rolled until tier 1 fizz damage. I then locked prefixes, reforged attack speed until I got attack speed, and then I ashlings for double damage. If making the weapon is a little confusing and you don't know how to do it, or you're intimidated by it and you want to ask questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and ask me all of the questions ever. A weapon like this currently on trade looks to be about 35 divines, maybe 50 divines. Crafting the weapon yourself is cheap. I do not recommend going out and buying the weapon. I'm also looking at the trade website. The weapons that are currently listed are all LE claws, so you're gonna have to more than likely make your own weapon. Like I said, if you need help, please let me know in the comments down below. The weapon itself has Frost Bomb, Frost Blink, and Bone Chill. We're using the Frost Bomb to apply cold exposure, the Frost Blink to move all around, and Bone Chill to give us more effective ailments. Our helmet, Heat Shiver. You don't need the double corrupt Heat Shiver. You do need the Heat Shiver with the Hatred effect on it to fiddle in all the auras. Heat Shiver with the Hatred effect enchant on it is about 2 to 3 divines. If we factor in +2 socketed gems, there currently are none, but if you want to get it lab serviced, I'm sure it's not that expensive. You would have to seek out a labber. The only reason that we have +2 aura gems on our helmet is our helmet has anomalous precision, we have grace, we have hatred, and we have herald of ice. Now note that these are AoE spells and aura spells, so you can get a heat shiver with AoE, you can get a heat shiver with aura. We just kind of wanted to scale up our auras a little bit. You don't need it. I just happened to get one earlier in the league. It was pretty cheap, and if you want, get it. We're using anomalous precision for the increased reservation efficiency so we can fit everything in. Please note, it is very important to note that my precision is not level 20, as I had to lower it so that I can meet the requirements for mana. Our grace is maxed out, our hatred is maxed out, our herald of ice is maxed out. Our amulet, Yoke of Suffering, you really can't beat it. It's the best bang for your buck. We put on Panopticon for more damage from our totems. Our one ring is a Circle of Fear. We don't care about the implicits. We more or less care about the increased cold damage while affected by Herald of Ice, and the Herald of Ice has increased buff effect. This is our big damage dealers. If you can find those mods with good implicits, I would say go for it. This ring itself, not very expensive. It's probably more expensive depending on the modifiers on it. Our body armor, we just want suppression, some resistances. So if you can get a nice body armor with suppression, some chaos resistance, and then any other third resistance, you're really happy. Our prefixes, we just want sheer evasion. A body armor like this without the Eater and Exarch mods, you're talking like, I mean, this is at the time of recording. These armors might not exist. You can get away with this one for 8 divines and just make up the missing spell suppression somewhere else. You really don't need a whole lot, but you can grab something like this. If you want to spend a little bit more, you can grab something like this. I will say, if you can get a body armor and put on the fizz taken as Ellie, it's pretty helpful in terms of just survivability. Our body armor, we have Awaken Wed so that we can't be killed by Reflect. We have Divergent Multi-Strike. The big damage difference between Divergent Multi-Strike and Awaken Multi-Strike in POB in terms of numbers was not that much. You can really get away with Divergent Multi-Strike. Divergent Multi-Strike is like 4 divines. Awaken Multi-Strike is like 500 million billion divines. You could just get Divergent and be great. Frost Blades, I have a very basic level 20. It goes to 21 from the support gems. From this. Okay, I was like, what the heck's putting at 21? If you can get a 2120 Frost Blades, you know, go get a 2120 Frost Blades if it's not too expensive. Trinity, we use Trinity because we're just dealing a bunch of damage. We have Nightblade support for elusive and Awaken added cold damage to give us +1 level and a bunch of flat cold damage. This is like a divine. Overall, the build itself, not too crazy expensive. I do have a ring. This ring sucks. It's not very good. The real big reason for this ring is the fractured increased elemental damage with attack seals on it and cold damage to attacks. Originally, I needed a ring that was very specific with int and strength. That's why this ring is a little strange. I use this ring slot to fix a lot of my problems and my resistances. You can put pretty much anything you want in this ring slot. Anything. This ring slot is your catch-all. You could put your resistances in this ring slot. You could put extra damage in this ring slot. Whatever your build is missing, fill it with this ring slot. So that's what this ring slot is. So I get Fractured Wed because I want the damage, and then I get Craft the Ring to whatever my character is currently missing at the stage. Originally, it was missing Int and Strength, and that's what I did. The gloves, I did manage to find Temple gloves with accuracy on them and a resistance. If you can get the Temple mod with the accuracy, great. Check your accuracy in POB as you're building the character. You might not need accuracy. You might need accuracy. I needed accuracy. The one thing that I want to mention about the gloves, and I did use a Veiled Chaos Orb on the gloves for socketed projectile gems and projectiles pierce. We don't care about the socketed projectile level. We do care about the pierce. The pierce is pretty important. So keep that in mind. You do want your Frost Blades to pierce, and that is very important so you can deal more damage to more mobs on the screen. Our gloves have Assassin's Mark in them, which we have with Life Tap, we have it with Blood Rage, and we have Mark on Hit. This way, as you saw, we can generate Frenzy charges and we can generate Power charges. Something important to note about the gloves, our gloves also apply cold exposure. So if you're pretty lazy about the Frost Bomb, you get the cold exposure from the gloves. If you're not lazy about the Frost Bomb, you get the cold exposure from the Frost Bomb. The big thing, though, with the gloves is you do want to elevate the Val skills to Exquisite so that you can hit 2 additional nearby targets. This will help your clear drastically. I do highly recommend this. I think this is very important, and you should 100% do this. Oh, as far as the chest goes, you definitely want the Hatred effects for more damage and the crit multi for more damage. It's a lot of damage. Like, don't skip out on the chest on the Eater and Exarch mods. You want them. Our boots, we have Brittle. I mentioned this during the Shaper fight. You need the Brittle on the ground to deal more crit, to apply the Brittle, to hit harder. So when you're bossing, if you choose to boss, you need to attack, move, attack, move, attack, move to put the Brittle on the ground and give Brittle to the boss. Our boots also give us elusive effect, which is really nice. Our boots are one of the same thing as the ring. Our boots fill our resistances. Our boots are giving us movement speed, and our boots are giving us life. Our boots are very basic. These are very cheap. You shouldn't be spending a fortune on boots like this at all. Like 6 divines, 10 divines at the time of recording. They're just cheaper to make yourself, in all seriousness. Literally just get a fractured pair of spell suppressed boots and just slam them with Essence of Envy for chaos resistance until you hit the other resistance. If the boots and crafting them scare you, ask. I'll walk you through it. The big thing that might possibly be expensive might be the shield. I bought a fractured titanium shield with tier 1 life on it. I did an ES-based shield because I wanted an offensive shield. You can go with an evasion-based shield for more spell suppression if you choose to. I wanted an offensive shield. I self-crafted my shield with Frigid Fossils. I took 1 socket resonators and Frigid Fossils and I slammed them into this base until I got tier 3 or better cold. Once I got tier 3 or better on the cold damage, I annulled off the 3rd prefix. I locked prefixes, Veiled Chaos Orb, hoped to hit a prefix, unveiled more damage, locked prefixes, reforged chaos, got chaos resistance, crafted on spell suppression. This shield was done. You could do more to the shield. The shield is another one of those spots where if you want to be more defensive, you build your shield to be very defensive. If you want to build your shield offensive, you build it very similar to what I have. Now, our shield has our Phantasmal Protector, our multi-totems, and our Ancestral War Chief. Val Ancestral War Chief is not linked to multiple totems, so that when we use our Val Ancestral War Chief and we have uses of them, you get 2 uses. If you have it linked to multiple totems, both uses will be used when you don't want to use both uses. If you have it unlinked, you can choose when to use each of the uses. So I keep it unlinked. You can link it or do whatever you want. Phantasmal Ancestral War Chief for the increased effect of the buff. Our boots, I forgot to talk about the skill gems. It's just faster attack, Immortal Call, Whirling Blades, and cast when damage taken. The Whirling Blades is how we move around really fast, so we pair it with faster attacks. You can put anything you want in this spot. I just wanted to move faster. Now the last thing on the list, the belt, the Mage Blood. You do not need a Mage Blood. Mage Blood is really nice. Headhunter is probably better for mapping, like leagues better, because we are a Fizz to Cold Convert build. So Headhunter gives you more benefits. I just happen to have a Mage Blood. I want to play with my Mage Blood. I love using my Mage Blood, but Headhunter would be great. You could also get a beautiful Stygian Vice and work with a Stygian Vice. You don't need Mage Blood to be able to do the content that you saw in the video today. It's just something I have and something that I use. You can use whatever you want. As far as the rest of the build goes, we'll talk about the tree and the POB, and then I'll let you guys off to go have some fun. Looking at the POB, you see a couple of things. We take Charisma for RMR. We take an impossible escape for more damage, and pretty much the tree itself is very basic and to the point. Things that I want to point out that are important on the tree to note. Step 1. I don't know why that wasn't allocated. Step 1, we are a trickster. We take Heartstopper. Heartstopper is that thing that you saw in Shaper that let me take the Shaper beam and not die. If Heartstopper's up, we are pretty strong and we do not die. We take Polymath for just, you know, damage on damage on damage and survivability. We take Swift Killer for more frenzy charges, and we take one step ahead so that we are fast AF. Otherwise, the tree itself is pretty simple. We use a Watcher's Eye for crit multi with anger. We don't use anger, so who cares? We do want the evade attacks with grace if we can get it. This gives us a lot of evade. It's pretty strong defensively, but the mod that we most care about is the hatred effect. We want the cold damage on hatred. That is the mod that we care about the most. As terms of your lethal pride, there is a lethal pride jewel calculator. I'll include a description down below in the comments that you can search for different nodes. I think this is the best one that we can get if it's available. This one gives you double damage, melee crit strike multiplier, totem damage, which we don't care about. Biz damage taken as hits as fire. We get intimidate, which is pretty cool. We get more life, double damage, more strength, melee damage, and ignites that don't do anything. So if you can get this forbidden or this lethal pride, I really recommend it. We do have a forbidden flesh and flame combo for opportunistic. Opportunistic gives us 25% more damage while there's at least one rare enemy or unique nearby. Damage from critical strikes can't be reflected since we're pretty close. We're 96% crit chance. I think we're 100% with power charge. Yeah, we're 100% with power charge. Pretty much we're just immune, which is like not the part that we care about. The part that we care about is the 25% more damage and the 20% reduced damage taken. So it's really strong. It's a lot of damage. You'll know right away if I were to like make this smaller and show you guys. You see, it's on Uber still. It is on Ubers. You see our damage says about 20 million. I don't actually even know if this is calculated right. I assume it is. And I take this off. It does nothing. I guess it's still calculating it. I have no idea. None? Huh? Is that right? Why is there a warning now? Oh, because I picked the same one. Yeah. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it works. I don't know. POB confuses me sometimes. We have things too to note. We have Fortify because we have a Fortify tattoo. We have a bunch of all attribute tattoos. If you need attribute help, you could tattoo on a bunch of attributes. I do tattoo on blind as I want to be able to blind the enemy. And then we just take things very basic. We take a lot of the cold mastery to convert our damage to cold. We talked about the Watcher's Eye. We have an impossible escape. We do the impossible escape for point blank. This gives us marked for death for calling strength against marked enemies. If I were to be level 97, I would take Fangs of Frost. And then pretty much just like, it's a lot of damage. It's just a lot of damage. The only other thing that you pretty much need in terms of the Atlas tree or the passive tree is I do have a large cluster for 35% increased effect, increased damage, and increased attack speed. This cluster in itself is a lot of damage. Each one of these nodes is about 2% increased damage. So you can pretty much just put 0.97 down below, 98 here, 99. And then if you really want to push for 100, you could take like another mastery somewhere. But otherwise, have fun. The build's a lot of fun. The build's really cool. You see the price of the build. I priced out everything in front of you. This is a lot of the time of recording. And if you have any questions about the build, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you try it and you like it and it kicks ass, please tell me. If you hate it and something went wrong, let me know. Maybe we can try to figure out what happened and what went wrong. But for now, friends, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and let me know what you think. If you want to see more build guides, or if you have something you'd like me to go over, discuss, or talk about, please let me know, and we'll look into it. For now, friends, I'm going to get this video out to you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends!